Hi everybody, I'm Corinne Blackstone and welcome to my craft room. I'm so happy to have you here today, and before we get started, be sure that you're subscribed here on YouTube. That way you don't miss out on any of the fun crafty content we have coming. Today's video, we're going to be using the WeCreate Vision, and we are going to engrave our very own tumbler. This is one of those things that I love the WeCreate Vision for. My Glowforge cannot do this, and the WeCreate Vision makes it so easy to set up. I'm going to show you all the steps and everything to create your own tumbler. Now this is a Mainstays from Walmart, and I find these work really, really well. I think this is a great option if you're getting started. They're pretty inexpensive, and I like that they are not tapered, so it does make it easier to work with. Plus, they're pretty long, so you have a lot of space to work with as well. I believe these are like 20 ounces, so they're not huge and they're not expensive. So definitely would recommend checking these out at Walmart to get started. Now keep in mind, you can really only engrave stainless steel. Don't try to do like plastic or acrylic cups. Won't work, you'll melt them, you'll ruin your laser. Please don't do that. But let's go ahead and get started. We're going to be engraving a tumbler, and this is a really fun thing that you can do with the WeCreate Vision that many other lasers don't do. So what I'm going to do first is I want to drag and drop the image that I want to use on my tumbler into my Create software. I'm going to be using this 1989 SVG, and one thing that you're going to notice is currently it just shows as an outline. We'll fix that in just a second, but what I want to do is make sure that I tell it I'm doing laser cylindrical, and it's going to give me a smaller space to work with. Now, we'll get our tumbler put in and get everything set up in just a second, but I want to show you really quickly over here with your processing the different types of things that you can do. So Engrave is just like an outline, so other software calls that score. Then if you wanted to fill engrave, which means the whole area is going to be filled in, and in this case it'll be silver versus the light blue of our tumbler, then you want to use fill engrave, and then cut would be just an outline, and that is something you'd want to use on like wood or something. But for this, we're going to be doing a fill engrave. Now, once we turn our laser on, we'll be able to change our settings and things, because currently right now it thinks we're using basswood. We are not. We are going to be using a stainless steel tumbler, but in order to change that, make sure that your laser is connected to your computer and on. I'm also going to show you how to install your cup onto your rotary tool, and it's really easy and really fun. And then we'll come back to the software and get everything kind of lined up, sized, and ready to go. We need to install the rotary tool, which involves taking out the grates, and then there are two screws over on the left hand side that you'll need to remove with the little Allen wrench style screwdriver that came with your machine. Now there is a little tab on the rotary tool that fits into a hole between where the two screws came out. Place that in, and then once you have that all lined up, you can easily put your screws in. Now you'll want to make sure that they are fully in and tight. That way your rotary tool doesn't move around or anything when it is actually engraving. It's really important that this is nice and tight and secure. That way you can have a perfect, even engraving every time. Couldn't think of the word engraving. You want to make sure that you have both screws in. If they're not going in all the way, just make sure that you've lined up your rotary tool, but it is really easy. And again, these are on the left hand side. Now you can see there is a line over on the left here. That is where your rotary tool is going to get power. You need to plug that in right under where this little red sign is, and make sure that the dots line up all the way and plug it in all the way. Now to install your cup, I wrap a little bit of masking tape around the bottom of mine because that helps it hold. I find my cup is a little too like smooth and slippery. So you use the dial on the back to loosen up your teeth, as I call them, and then you put your cup in and you tighten the teeth as tight as you can around your cup. Like I said, that masking gives it a little something extra to grab onto. I find that super helpful. Now ignore the fact that this is kind of cattywampus to the side. I already actually engraved the cup, but my camera didn't record me installing it into the rotary tool. So you want to use your level that you got with your machine, and you want to make sure that your cup is fully level, and then you can use the little wheels that go under the cup to help level it as well. You want those wheels to touch the cup, but not to keep the cup from moving. Now I drop my level all the time, so don't feel bad if you do too. But the biggest thing is to make sure your cup is straight and level. And like I said, mine's a little not straight here. I would fix it if I was actually going to be engraving this, but I didn't. I had already engraved. Once we've got our laser turned on, you will see your image. Now, because I have the bottom of my laser, or my cup into my laser, I need to turn my design. So I just need to rotate it 180 degrees. That way it is the correct direction. And now from here is where we size this down to however big we want it to be on our tumbler. Now I don't mind if the little bird wings are a little bit to the sides, and same with the 1989. I want it to be kind of big, and I want it to be a little closer to the top of our tumbler, because I'm going to add a little bit of text just because I think it'll be fun. So let's add a quick little bit of text. And obviously we know that Taylor does her Taylor's version. So this is going to be Corinne's version. So I'm going to do Corinne's version. And I think what I want to do is that actually I'm going to take the word version out really quick and just change this up a little. So for this, I'm going to do a font, a like script font, just so it's kind of fun. And I like this one, Antox Script Personal Use. Again, I want to rotate this 180 degrees, and then I'm going to go ahead and place this on to my cup. I want to do a fill engrave, and I'm going to go ahead and shrink it down. Oops, not like that. I'm not. When you do shrink things in their software, hold shift on your keyboard when you resize. That way things will stay in place. So we're going to change that to Corinne's, and then I'm just going to go ahead and copy and paste that text and change it to version. Once I undo my resize, I just want to change it to say version. So we'll just change it, and it's upside down obviously, so it's fine. And then I'm going to go ahead and move this over. I think I want to get rid of the capital V. I don't think I like that. I think I want a small V, and then I just want to kind of play around with its edge here. All right, that's fine. I like that. Let's go with it. We are going to then just make sure both of these are set to fill engrave. This is set to fill engrave. And now what you want to do is you're going to click refresh, and it might take a second, but usually that's where I can select my designs. If I'm having issues with getting the setting here to change, which I do have occasionally, what I will do, so all I did was hit escape on my keyboard, and I find that that seems to work to allow us to change our material settings. So I want to go to stainless, and I'm going to do stainless steel blue. Once you've selected that stainless steel, what you'll do is you click on where it says preview, and you can choose the kind of like color you're going for. Now their blue is a lot different than my blue, but I think this one should work okay. So we'll select that one, and you can just click away from it. And you want to make sure that all of your settings are the same. So for like my version here where I have the orange, I want the same settings here on this blue. So you'll need to go in and select the same thing. That way it will do everything the same. Now it looks pretty good to me. Everything looks pretty lined up where I want it. Make sure that you are, kind of judging where you want stuff before you commit. I think I might move this up a little bit more, because you got to remember we've got this whole bottom down here. So I don't want it to be really like off-centered, but I also don't want it to be like really weird. So I think that's probably good. I think I'm happy with that. Now all I want to do is I'm going to click start. Now I did forget to put in my diameter and my parameter on this. Now they use weird like measurements on this. I don't know why, but they do. I have no clue, but it's just the way that they work. Now I do need to move this around a little bit because obviously by changing the measurement, it changed the sizing. But let me measure my cup really quick because I don't remember the exact measurements. I remeasured, so it's actually 8 1/4 in length, and then the diameter is usually about 3 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click start again and see if the measurements it'll like measure, because sometimes it'll measure on its own. but the laser won't cut yet. So it's kind of giving it a chance to see what it thinks. Now see here, it's going to tell me kind of what they think the measurements are, but they do it in millimeters. It's very annoying. So I'm going to hit cancel really quick, and I just want to change those measurements. So now that I've gotten the measurements in, I'm going to go ahead and adjust the sizing, because you can see that the sizing's really off on these. It's a little too big now, so I am going to just change my sizing just a little bit. I don't want it to be teeny tiny, but I don't want it to be huge either. And then I'm just going to move this up a little. I don't want to move it up a ton. I want it to be kind of separate from this. All right, I think that's pretty good. I like it. I'm pretty satisfied with the way that it looks. So once I've done that, all I have to do now is click start. Now it may come back and tell me that my measurements are wrong. And it does that sometimes, and I can't figure out why, because I do measure and I know how to measure. Now it's decided that it likes my measurements this time, so that's great. So now all we have to do from here is click send, and then we'll press the button on the laser to get it started, and it will go ahead and cut. And this is only gonna take about 7 minutes, so that's pretty good. Now once the laser's done, you'll hear it's still running. I'm gonna let it run for another minute or two, kind of get all the fumes out, and then we'll open it up and take it out and clean it off. You're gonna notice the laser is much quieter. That's because it's no longer running the fan. So we're gonna open it, and it's gonna get a little orangey in here because of the orange topper. You can go ahead and remove your cup. Now I have this one really tight, so I am gonna loosen up the dial in the back just so I can get the cup off. And I'll show you what it looks like before we clean it up, because you can see it's like really messy. It looks really, really blurry and kind of dirty. So I like to use what's called tub of towels to clean this off, and it works really well. These are what I use. It's a tub of towels. I'll link it down below for you. I got them off Amazon, but it takes just one single wipe. They smell pretty good. They're kind of like citrusy scented, but they work really well for lots of things, including cleaning your laser, but they also work really good for cleaning your cups. So I'm just going to start with the bird really quick, just so you can kind of see. Now this isn't going to be super silver because the base under this is like not silver apparently, but that's okay. I actually kind of like it in the black versus silver anyways. So what I'm going to do here is just give it a good wipe and get it really clean. And you can see all the gunk that came off there on the towel. Super gross. And I do always recommend washing this again in just some regular old soapy water. That can help, but you can really get in here and scrub. Make sure you get all that gunk off, and you can peel the tape that's around the bottom off. I'm gonna go ahead and let this dry so that you can get a really good look, and I'll show you what it really truly looks like now that it's done. Here's the cup all finished. I think it came out so good. What I love is that you can see all those really little thin lines and all of those great details. By using the laser to engrave, it does such a good job. I really like the WeCreate Vision, and be sure that you're using code Corinne Blackstone when you check out on their site, because that'll save you $100 on top of even their sale prices. So it's a really, really good deal. I think it's super easy to use as well. It does take a little bit of time and testing, but once you really get it, it's pretty simple to work with. If you have any questions about the laser, or you want to see any videos specifically from the laser, let me know in those comments down below. I'll link everything I used in the video, including the tumbler from Walmart and anything else that we might have used, like the tub of towels and all of that. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, happy crafting.